Hello again, Gemini, and welcome to your January 2019 love reading. If this is not a hello again, I am Princess India. Welcome, welcome, welcome to your love reading, Gemini. So we're going to do the usual. We're going to look at an overall energy from the romance angels for you as well as your cross watcher for January 2019. And then we're going to look at what energies are going on with you as well as with them. First card is for Gemini. The second card is for their cross watcher. Whoa. That's Gemini. And that's your cross watcher. So how have you been in the last 24 hours since we've seen each other before? Has it been, a long journey? Probably not. Oh gosh, my deck is on some stuff. Okay, Spirit, please give me clear, indirect guidance for my Gemmies, as well as their cross watchers for January 2019. Please, Spirit, clear and direct guidance for my Geminis. And their cross watcher. Alrighty. Oh, and of course, dice of resonance. Make sure I have these puppies. I feel like I dropped one earlier. I hope I didn't. I don't think I did. Okay. Anyway, sorry, Gemini. So, overall energy that we have for Geminis is separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. First card that we have is the Judgment card. Then we have the Devil card. And then we have the Three of Swords. So, Gemini, what it is looking like for you guys. This looks like a separation that's happened prior to January. But I would say that the person that you guys were connected to, there was, I would say more or less, I don't want to say it in a nicer way, you were addicted to him, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? It's more or less addicted in the sense of like a feeling, right? Addicted to a feeling, or addicted to them sexually, or even it could be, just simply a toxic relationship. But whatever the case may be, there has been a separation between the two of you. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is permanent, because I would want to see the Death card here before I would say that it's like indefinite done deal. This more or less looks like a transformation for me. So if there was a breakup between you and someone else, and it doesn't necessarily have to be December, it could have been before then. If there's been a long, gap in you guys being together, what I'm seeing presently is it's more or less a transformation that's happening with the two of you. So this is something that I think very well could come back together, right? In the sense that Gemini is ascending to a higher call, higher state of being or awareness, doing your personal work, whatever you are doing personally in your life. And it's more or less the identification that this was an unhealthy union in the sense of how the two of you were relating to each other. So when I say like addiction to each other, whether it be sex or an actual addiction, it's in the sense of like a codependency, in other words, of feeling like I can't fathom life without this person. I don't know how I would go on without this person. But if you did have feelings like that, or even if they had feelings like that about you, the thing that I'm seeing coming into January is that you've more or less proved yourself wrong. because you guys have done fine. You found a place of strength, and with the Three of Swords, you guys are healing from this experience. So it's not to say that you guys ultimately would not get back together. Not necessarily saying that you are either, but there's an open window for that to happen if whatever it is that caused you guys to separate in the first place is confronted through both of your healing, right? So moving on to your cross watcher. Whoa. Cross watcher is calling in your soulmate. Your affirmations and I cannot talk right now. And visualizations help bring you together. First card we have for the cross watcher is the Hermit. Then we have the Five of Wands. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Very interesting, Gemini. Okay, so, all right. For my single Geminis who say that there's not, a chance in hell that you would ever deal with your ex again, then this would be someone that's coming into you guys' life, right? This is someone who's actively doing manifestation work. God, I really cannot talk right now. That's actively doing manifestation work and is calling in someone like you, right? Now, seeing this from a different perspective, including the cross watcher here, it's more or less this judgment call that's happening for Gemini is more or less getting you into the position because of the personal work that you've done to align with this person. And I feel like they've had similar experiences as you have. They kind of got tired of the BS and decided to separate from what wasn't in alignment with them, right? Them getting in alignment with their truth. And this is almost like a mirroring effect. But I feel like their healing process is a little farther behind than yours is. So I do feel like, not like you're acting like super save them or anything, but it's more or less the two of you are going to co-create the remainder of your healing process together, right? So that's for my single people. Now, when it comes to my Gemini people who are in separation from someone and it's not something that was indefinite, but the way that you guys were relating to each other wasn't necessarily in the best interest of both of you, and kind of both of you being aware of that, what I'm seeing is your, ex or whatever you want to call them, your cross watcher person, they more or less got their minds right. It was more or less them realizing that, and I hate to say it this way, it's them seeing how they were relating to you. I'm just going to say it how I'm hearing it. The realization they came to was how they were relating to you. They saw that they were at the source of a lot of the conflict. Now, not to say that in a situation that, everything is all one person's fault. That's not what I'm saying. It's more, I think it's like head games or, just stuff that they did that kind of made you feel like this union was toxic, so to speak. It's them kind of coming to that realization once you were gone that, oh, so that was me. You know what I mean? And even their friends telling them, or if they talk to an ex or something and their ex telling them, like, you do that. Like, you always used to do that to me. Them kind of doing a little bit of soul searching and seeing that within themselves. And it's like, I feel like with them, if this is a person that you're separated from, it's almost like they're hoping on a wing and a prayer. Because I think whatever hurt was caused here, because I'm saying like Gemini was the one that initiated the separation, but 9 times out of 10, it probably wasn't. It was probably another one of those things that they did, whether it was icing you out or ghosting you or, whatever the case may be. I don't necessarily see anything about blocking. I usually would expect the Eight of Wands in reverse here if that were the case. But I more or less see it in the sense of like a blowout that left you feeling disheveled, depressed, sad, like, where's all this coming from type of deal. But for the most part, it's like after them doing some soul searching and seeing the error of their ways, it's like energetically, they're calling out to you and wanting you to return. But the thing is it's more or less they're in the energy of feeling as if that they've done so bad this time that they fear, it's almost like they fear coming forward, but I feel like they ultimately will. So I want to say that, you know, if this is a Gemini female that I'm talking to, I wouldn't say to reach out to them. You know what I mean? Because this person is kind of confused. I'm just going to be real. Because it's more or less they want you to come to them, but it's like they're aware of the fact that that's not possible. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of leaving them in this conflicting mental space, so to speak. So they know it's not possible because of what they did. It would never give anyone the slightest idea that after doing whatever it is that they did to you that hurt you so bad, that you would turn around and be like, hey, want a reunion type of deal, right? So it's more or less them trying to build this strength. And I think with them, it's like a heart space issue with them. It's like a fear of expressing their emotions or a fear of vulnerability. But it's undeniable that they do genuinely love and care about you. I think that's something that's become completely clear to them. So it's kind of them kind of working out of this guilt that they're living in of seeing themselves as the source of the conflict. And that's why I say it's kind of conflicting, but interesting, because it's almost as if their perception was almost as if you were the source of the problem, but removing you from the equation. So this is kind of one of those things where it's a separation where it's like a blessing in disguise almost. It's like, and especially with there being, I was about to just say two, but the fact there's three major arcanas here, whenever there's two or more, it's always indicative of like a major shift that's happening. And that's like kind of the energy I was feeling of there being a transformation. It's almost as if this separation was the best thing that could have possibly happened to you guys, because it forced them to see themselves. It was almost as if they had to face themselves. So with wrapping up, what it is that I'm seeing with them, it's them trying to tune back into their emotional space and their heart space, because that's the only way out of their proverbial prison. Because the prison is a prison of pride. You know what I mean? It's like in their heart, they know they love you. In their heart, they know that they want to be with you. But that struggle that they're going through right now is one of mind and heart. And it's them trying to overcome their pride. Because I feel like it's that prideful part of them that's wanting you to return. But it's like, dude, like, seriously? You know what I mean? But it's like they know that. But it's like, wishful thinking, right? But that's that prideful part of them. So I feel like that's kind of the residue that's kind of dismantling, so to speak, going into about like mid-January. That's what I see them kind of coming out of, and it's them descending back into that heart space and into that emotional space. And this is where it's kind of interesting for me, where it's flippy floppy, and this is a very clear, you know, mirror effect going on for me, is the fact of them coming to the realization, because these two cards for you, I look at these for you, their last card and your last card. So it's more or less you've done this personal healing enough to be able to hear, like you've come out of your mental conflict and you're healed enough to hear them out when they come forward, right? But their perception is of you still being encased and trapped in this prison and lost without them, God forbid, you know? And I think they may be a little taken aback at the fact that you have not cracked and reached out to them. And that's the reason why I was saying that. I think they're a little taken aback by that. But you having like the gall and the gumption to stand your ground this time around without cracking and reaching out, it's more or less you pretending to be a damsel in distress that's not really in distress when they come, to where you're like, okay, I'll hear you out. But their intention is going to be to set you free from the mental prison without them and what's not or whatever. Man, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I'm getting nosy, man. Kind of want to know what's going on with that. Oh, yeah, the Dice of Resonance. Art project of mine. It has all 12 zodiac signs. It has the ability to ask a yes or no question. And what else? And it has clarifiers like the role that they play in your life and whether it's sun, moon, and rising. Or not. I think that's the one that fell. The one that fell was the sun, moon, and rising die. I don't know where it went, y'all. Well, I don't know where it went. I don't really think that's necessary, per se. I don't think, right? Would y'all miss it? This is really killing me. I'm sorry. I feel like this is so undone and I want to know more. No, I'm not going to use this deck. Y'all know this is a sin and a shame. Is Princess pulling more cards because she says, oh, I sense that Gemini may want to know more. No, Princess is just nosy. And she's like, this is getting juicy and good. And I kind of want to know how this is going to pan out. Because I'm nosy. I'm sorry. My bad. I love you anyway. We'll do the Dice of Resonance in a second. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't think you're mad at this. Spirit, can you give me an outcome card of how this is going to pan out between Gemini and this cross-watcher person? That is interesting. They come to set you free and you sitting up here already free. Like, let me just tie up my hands right quick. Stroke his little ego. Make him feel like he doing something. Oh, I was just here in this prison. But I really get the sense like Gemini really does love this person, but I don't know, I almost got the sense like you guys feel like, you know, you kind of had reached the end of your rope where you were just like, bruh, I don't have time for this. So I would say it's like you've moved forward, but in your heart you have not fully moved on from this person. Like you still love them very deeply. Spirit, can I get an outcome card for Gemini and their cross watcher? Please, Spirit, because Princess is nosy. And I need to know these things and what's not or whatever. Oh. Whoa, okay, okay, okay. Ooh. The Ace of Swords. Okay. Ace of Swords. This is infatuation. This is truth. One, it's speaking a truth, of course, literally. There's two sides to the Ace of Swords. You could say one, it's a truth that, you know, could be dark side or light side. But how I'm kind of seeing this energy panning out, I feel like this is them or him with his little Ace of Swords coming in and speaking truth. But it's the truth of the true feelings for you. It's the realization that they came to with the Hermit. It's them more or less, and that's like this battle I talked about in the Ace of Swords between heart and their ego. It's them submitting and surrendering to the fact that you guys have them bound by love. So it's not by control. It's not by force. It's almost like, what is it in that movie? Is that Brokeback Mountain when they say, I can't quit you? It's like that. It's almost as if they've tried, and this is not in the cards, this is just Spirit is telling me. They've tried several times before with this kind of back and forth, off and on thing that you guys had going on to quit you, but they just couldn't. And now it's come to the point of them being lovesick, coming to the realization of the truth that you are their soulmate, that they want to be with you. And it's them finally coming to the place of them surrendering to that truth, that they are completely, utmostly, and unequivocally infatuated with you. Gemini. I don't know what kind of good juju y'all got going on. And of course, this could be a Virgo or a Scorpio person. I need some of that. I'm a Gemini. Wait, I am a Gemini rising in Venus in this piece. Can I get some of that? Goodness. Okay, so we're going to throw out the dice of resonance. I don't interpret these. They just fall how they do. Oh, before I look at that, you can ask a yes or no question. If you want to ask a yes or no question, pause and, do that. Thizzle. I'm even going to go fair and I'm going to toss it again. So you can ask a yes or no question. The answers that they have are yeses, no, and time-sensitive answers. In the event that it's a time-sensitive answer, take that as a yes in the time frame in which it will happen. Pause me if you need to. Okay. All right. Now, we have Taurus, we have Capricorn, we have family, and we have in a few months, and that would be yes, in a few months. So, however that falls for you, I don't interpret that. It resonates however it resonates. That's why my subby named them the Dice of Resonance. But anyway, Gemini, thank you for letting me be nosy. Made your reading a lot longer. But that has been your beginning of January love reading. I love your face, and I'll see you guys somewhere down the line. Sooner than later. When you cross watch or your moon rising Venus, whatever. Love your face. Deuces.